He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
Let's talk about what's on the ground, boots on the ground concepts of what's going on with mortgage borrowers today.
Yep.
So the reality is that, we're going to know more about whatever disaster the Ontario economy is going to, and all the Canadian economy is going to get into in the coming days. We'll see. It'll either be as bad as we thought, or worse, or much better, but it's going to have to shake out over the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
So, just assuming that we're not thinking about that right now, my feeling is in the mortgage business in Ontario that activity's up versus 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So when you're on the phone talking to people, and Sacha, sometimes you'll take 20 calls a day.
Oh, more than that.
Some days more than that. So start with, let's break it down. So is this renewal cliff? I mean, we know it's real.
Yeah.
We know that it's not, there's a ton of renewals coming up, and we're talking to a bunch of them. What's the attitude of most people? I mean, most people are obviously seeing a jump in interest rate, a jump in payment. What do you hear from people about renewals?
Well, there's a lot of rate shopping, obviously, right? Because
that's our actual fucking business.
Yeah.
So I hope there's some rate
shopping. Absolutely. Yeah, right. But I mean, it's obviously a punch in the gut when you're going from, sometimes a 1% mortgage, and all of a sudden you're faced with today's rates, which, if low fours, right, is realistic for a lot of people. And even then, you want to make sure that you're getting the best deal. So shop around. Absolutely. The banks are also being very aggressive, as you've mentioned in some of your previous podcasts. What do the people say?
Like do they sound worried? Do they just sound like they're focused on getting a good deal? I mean, I realize not everyone is the same, but what's the pattern that you see?
I think we live in an information age. People are more informed about mortgages today than they used to be, which I think is a good thing, because they're forced to. They're forced to Google, right? Everyone who's looking for a mortgage, and anyone's kidding themselves if they don't think their clients are doing this, best mortgages in Canada, right? And they're looking up the various terms, looking up the various rates. People are obviously faced with inflation across the board, and they want savings. It's pure and simple. And sometimes that comes in the form of a refinance. Maybe people thought they just needed a switch, but then all of a sudden they've got 40, 50, 60 grand in consumer debt that we can take a look at that might help them overall. The banks are, as always, not offering the best rates up front to people. So they shop around, they find what we're able to get them. And more often than not, they move forward with us, which is obviously a good thing.
Well, that's the fucking outcome we're looking for, right?
That's a good fucking
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
It works for us. But we're a discount brokerage. So obviously we're there to help people when the banks don't offer the best rate up front, which they don't.
But the banks will also match a shit ton.
They will. They're very aggressive. So, what I would hope from people is that they come to us with at least 6 weeks notice, because it takes a minimum of 4, weeks to get something done, 20 business days. And a lot of the times, people think they have more time than they do. And so we'll get people saying, oh, my renewal is in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's not a good approach.
No. And you have to have this conversation with them. And it's probably, I'd say 80% of the phone calls I take in a day is someone saying that my mortgage is coming up for renewal in 4 weeks or less.
All right, well, let's break that down for the public. So part of that is the triggering. The way the banks work is twofold. They will approach you for 3 to 4 months in advance.
Yeah,
because they're interested in offering you some sort of an early renewal. They can say, well, there won't be any penalty. Your mortgage is not matured for a while. It doesn't renew for another 3 months, but we can get you into this rate now, and then you're protected, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I think today most people don't participate in that because, as you said, they're coming from 1.49, and the best news they're hearing from the bank is like 4.69, and so fuck no, I don't want to do that right now. I'd rather wait till closer.
Yeah.
And then at the 30-day mark, most lenders, banks will say to you, hey, your mortgage is fucking renewing in 30 days. Maybe the people on the phone from the bank don't say fucking, but they say, look, your mortgage is renewing.
They might if they
days.
call us.
Your mortgage is 30 days. No. Everybody should realize, like, I actually know how to behave. I mean, like,
He just chooses not to.
It's angry mortgage. It's so I can say what I want. But
true.
Everybody here talks to the public without swearing at them. We might swear at each other, but we don't swear at the public. So just edit that in, everyone. Like, make a mental note of that.
Yeah.
There's nobody cursing at each other, cursing at the customers at all, ever.
No.
So, although that doesn't mean it hasn't crossed our minds.
Yeah.
But look, no, we don't. We're here to help you.
I'm comfortable when a client wants to swear because they're frustrated about their situation. That doesn't bother me at all.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.